Hello everyone, welcome to Sriram IAS. Myself ShivaSankari, alias Shiva Ignatius. So today we will see environment topic, like already we have seen one. So this will be the second topic about an important ecosystem, coral reef. Okay. Yes. Okay, fine. So why this has to be discussed? Is there any specific reason? Yeah, actually a lot of news has appeared related to coral reef ecosystem. Okay, starting from the Great Barrier Reef, which has faced almost 4 times coral bleaching event in the last 7 years. This and all is a word which we will be seeing in our classes. Okay, coral bleaching and all. So that's how I am connecting this ecosystem with coral reef. So why this coral reef was in news? There were a lot of topics, but one important topic is cryomesh. Okay, yes, technology. It's cryomesh only. It's a technology. This technology is used to preserve the coral reef. Okay, so this is way the coral larvae, they are preserving the coral larvae at -196 degrees Celsius, and then later they will be reintroduced into the wild. So for what reason they are doing this? And they have also made this technology in a cheaper way. So the reason behind this is that lot of events like coral bleaching, even much more problems are associated with coral ecosystems. Okay, like coral suicide, which we will be seeing inside, because of climate change events, okay, global warming and all. So this, in order to preserve the variations in the coral reef, biodiversity, we are saying no, even coral reef, we are having diverse of coral reefs. So in order to preserve the diversity, we are trying to preserve the coral reef using this mesh technology, and later this will be introduced into the wild. So this, if it appears in the exam, they are asking a question, they will ask with this word, or else they will ask that this technology was developed by so and so dash, like UN bodies, they may give an option like that. So you have to be very clear that this is not developed by UN body and all, it is developed by Australian Institute of Marine Science. Okay, not our aims, it's Australian, okay, Institute of Marine Science. This is the institute which has developed this technology, okay, to preserve the coral. Nowadays this is very important because climate change is continuously causing harm to the other living organisms, right? So this is first. Now might be the question can go into the coral reef also, because the news has been like this. So now we have to see what is coral reef. So under this topic, what and all you are going to see. In that first one, you will be seeing what are called corals. Okay, so that means about coral reef. You are going to see about coral reef, that is first. Second, distribution, where and all they are located, distribution. Okay. Third, types, the varieties we can say. Fourth, benefits or services given by coral reef ecosystem. No, services by coral reef ecosystem. And fifth, threats faced by coral reef ecosystem. Faced by the coral reef, I am writing in short form, okay, ecosystem. And sixth, if there is any protection measures which is available to protect the coral, we will be seeing that also. Last, is there any other important news other than the cryomesh technology which came in newspaper? So in news topics, if it is there, we will fill up here. So first we will begin with what are corals. As you can see, this lively beautiful organism is coral. I have given only one coral here, but a group of corals in different colors you will notice. So what are corals? Corals are nothing but, always when you are writing or studying, make short notes like this. They are underwater structures. Corals are underwater structures which is composed of skeletons of colonial marine invertebrates. Okay, marine invertebrates called polyps. This is called polyp. Actually, they are animals. Okay, they are in the name of polyp, not in the name of coral. But colloquially, we used to call them as corals only. Corals are the structures constructed by polyp. Polyp is an animal. It's an invertebrate animal which belongs to, already, I hope you remember that kingdom. When I am saying there are 5 kingdoms, I told starting from Monera, Protista, then fungi, plantae, animalia. This way we discussed. Animalia, under Animalia, there are 11 phylum. One phylum is Cnidaria. Cnidaria. Okay, this Cnidaria includes this polyp. Polyp comes under Cnidaria. With other organisms also present under Cnidaria, like sea anemone. Okay, sea anemone you can say. Then jellyfish, you would have seen them like flying in the sea. So jellyfish, all these group of organisms will possess stinging tentacles like needles which are present in the tentacles, like a hand they will be using a tentacle. So they will have stinging tentacles in the name of nematosis. We call this as nematosis. I will explain why I am saying this here, but they will have a stinging tentacle. Okay, so coral also belong to this group called Cnidaria only. And how these people eat, how corals will eat, what they consume. That's the next question if you want to know about coral. Some species, I can say like this, some species, okay, because I already told corals are animals, so definitely either they have to predate on other organism or they have to depend on others for food. So some species will predate small marine organisms, okay, like fish larvae you can take, planktons, they are eating that, okay, using nematosis. Do you remember? I told you why I am writing nematosis here. So you should also know that corals are also having stinging tentacles, okay. So using that they are capturing the prey and eating, they predate. But many of them, major species, okay, they depend on or go into symbiotic association or symbiotic relation, or you can also call this as mutual relation. In the interaction section, I would have definitely discussed about this mutualism topic. So they enter into mutual relationship with zooxanthellae, okay. It's also called as golden brown algae, but it is not algae, okay. Its name is golden brown algae or zooxanthellae, but it's really a dinoflagellate. Every time in UPSC question paper, you will come across these types of words, dinoflagellate, Cnidaria, okay. So that's why I am using again and again these types of words for you. Dinoflagellate, right? They go into association, mutual tie-up. So what they do, the coral, and now we will take it as algae, okay. Not to write dinoflagellate, golden brown algae and all, just write algae. They are mutually exchanging. So what they are going to exchange? Algae will give, food, because algae will trap sunlight and prepare food and give to coral. Coral will give place for algae to stay, also the metabolic waste, especially the carbon dioxide. Here the algae along with food will also give color. Don't think that they will give some color pencils and all. The algae is colorful. So when they reside in the cells, that is within the tissues of this animal, polyp, they will live within the tissue of this animal. So they give color to coral also. The coral gets color from the algae only. So this way the benefit goes on, association. So now comes next question, where this coral will live, what are the habitat conditions, can I call like that, what are the habitat conditions required for coral. Okay, so let us take next, that will be clear. So this one, habitat condition means, what are the suitable conditions for habitat to thrive, for coral to thrive. In that, first I can say, before entering into habitat, you should know about two kinds of or variants of coral, then only you will understand this better. So let me make a note here. See, there is two types of coral, we will put up here, like we said the coral polyp, no, they are of two variant. One is hard, we call them as hard coral, another we call as soft coral. Okay, soft coral. After this I will tell about the habitat condition. So one is called hard coral. Hard coral are the one which build the reef. Okay, they construct the reef building coral we call them as. So this is otherwise called a stony coral also, stony coral. They build the reef, they construct the reef by extracting calcium carbonate from sea water. They will extract calcium carbonate, they will construct the coral, that is the structure. The soft coral does not construct reef. Okay, they do not build the reef, they do not construct reef. Okay, so they look more like a plant or a tree. So they are very flexible inside the water. You can see here, this is hard coral, they have hard skeletons, but these are like example, this is a sea fan, it is very flexible. Okay, it is also coral only, it do not build reef. This is sea whip, you can see here, this also example of soft coral. Okay, so now especially we are talking about this hard coral. For them, the conditions where they live is very important and specific. So first, they will thrive in an optimum temperature. Okay, this hard coral will live in the optimum temperature between 23 to 29 degree Celsius. This is first condition. Okay, second, they always prefer warm water, clear water and shallow water. Okay, so warm, clear and shallow water they do prefer. It does not mean they do not live in the cold water and all, they live, but majority of the species, especially the reef building species, if you are seeing, they prefer warm, clear and shallow water. That is why the majority of coral reefs are found near the equatorial regions, that is the tropical, otherwise we can say this is tropical destinations. In tropical waters you will find this coral reef. Okay, so this is the habitat condition, these two are important point. Then where these corals are located, distribution, that is the second topic for us. So we have discussed about the coral, this much is enough, no need for in-depth discussion and all. So we have seen what is coral, how it is forming association with other organism, then what they eat and all, what is the condition required for their existence. This way we have discussed. Now distribution, where and all you can find this coral. Starting from Aleutian Island, near the coast of Alaska to Caribbean Sea, you can find this coral reef. But mostly they are located near the tropical regions. More than 100 countries, okay, has coral reef. This is first thing, they have coral reef, right? Second, more than half of the world's coral reef, okay, half of world's coral reef are found in corals. I am writing shortly, okay, half of world's coral reef are found in 6 countries, okay, they are found in 6 countries. What are those countries? Like Australia, okay, Indonesia, Philippines, Papua New Guinea, New Guinea. Here there is no space, I am writing here. Fiji, and Maldives. Okay, so these are the 6 countries which has half of the world's coral reef. This is important point, that's why I have written like this. Then you come to South Asia. See, but in this country, Australia has the biggest reef. Okay, the world's largest reef, which has goes around 2,400 kilometers, is found in Australia, the Great Barrier Reef. This we all know. Indonesia has the largest geographical area covered by coral reef in the world. Okay. Then in South Asia, if you are taking India, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Chagos, these 4 countries. Okay, these 4 countries will have the areas largely covered by coral reefs comparative to other country. Come to India. In India, what are the areas which has coral reef? The major areas, major coral reefs are found in only 4 areas. Apart from, there are also 3 areas where the coral, 3 to 4 areas where you can find coral reef. The 4 areas, first one I can say the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay. In the descending order I am writing. Largest coral reef area is Andaman and Nicobar Island. Then Lakshadweep. Okay. Third, Gulf of Kutch, and Gulf of Mannar. Okay, these areas are having coral reefs, Gulf of Mannar. Okay. Along with this, coral reefs can also be found in Gavashani Bank. It is called Gavashani Bank. Near Karnataka. In this place also you can find coral reef. Then Malvan coast near Mumbai. Okay. And apart from this, Park Bay also you can find a few corals there. Also small patches you can find in Goa and Kerala. In these 2 states also you can find coral reef. So this is the total distribution which I have given for you about the coral reef. So these are the 4 areas. Apart from that, in small amount you will find here also. Right. Now we will go to the types of corals. Okay. Types. Why we are seeing types also? Because in India we have all the types of corals. Okay. See, there are 4 types. If I want to say the types of corals, there are 4 types we can notice. 1, the fringing reef. Second, barrier reef. Okay. Third, we can talk about the atolls. Fourth, the See, first we will start with the fringing reef. Okay, fringing reef. First we will see the diagram so that you can easily understand the fringing reef here. See, this reef will grow from the coastline towards the sea. Not only in continent, in island also you will see these types of reef. You can see this is a diagram which you can notice. So this is that reef from the coastline, it is growing towards the sea. Okay. This is fringing reef, right. Then comes the barrier reef. This is the coastline, and this is the reef which is parallel to the coastline of mainland as well as the island, but it is separated by a deeper water body called lagoons. Okay, it is separated by water body. So this is barrier reef, and this is atoll. You can see this small one. This is atoll. When the fringing reef is growing near the island and the island get submerged inside the water, what happens? Only the water is visible inside with the reef outside, ring of reef. Okay, ring of reef is formed. So inside you have a lagoon. So this is one type of reef. Next is patch reef. Last one is patch reef. As you can see, this is patch reef. Okay. So, patches here and there you are finding patches, small patches. Mostly these will grow from the continental shelf. You know, no, this is like continental shelf means in the continent only. You know, where this is continent, here the water covers some certain area, this is called continental shelf. Okay. So, here or near in the continental shelf area of islands, okay, you can find these reef starts growing and very rarely they will reach the surface. If they reaches, you can see them as small patches. Okay, I have written P, sorry, patch. It is called patch reef. Okay, all the 4 types are seen in India. Okay. Now, we will see this way we have seen that a lot of details about coral reef. This much is enough, we need not go much deeper. Now, we can see what are the benefits associated with the coral reef. First one, the coral reefs are called rainforest of sea. Okay, rainforest of sea. Why? Because they host more, they have more diverse organisms than you know, the rainforest of land. So, almost this coral reef occupies 1% or less than 1% of the ocean floor, but they host around 25% of marine animals. That is why it is called rainforest. Okay. Then it protects people from natural calamity, like, you know, wave action, coastal erosion, storm surges, like this we can etc. natural calamities. Third, it provides economic benefit to people. How? Like tourism activities, okay, fishing and all. Then fourth, it acts as medicine cabinet. Okay. So, lot of medicines are served or traced out from here for disease like cancers and all. So, these are some of the benefits we can reap from coral. Okay. Then what are the threats? When you are taking any ecosystem, you should know what are the benefits related to that, then what are the threats related to that ecosystem. Let us leave the natural threat, continuous wave pounding, variation in temperature, all these are some of natural threats. But man-made threat, that is anthropogenic cause, we call this as anthropogenic cause, right, it is a man-made threat. So, like first one, coral mining. What they are doing? They are mining coral, like how you mine sand and all, they are cutting the coral using it for jewelry making. Second, destructive fishing habits, like dynamite, throwing dynamite and then killing the fish. So, killing corals also, fishing habits, cyanide fishing, like this we can say. Third, I can say about mangrove destruction. Why mangrove destruction is also affecting coral? Because when you see like this only, here I am writing like a tree, this is mangrove, this is seagrass, then corals are there. Okay. So, when mangroves here, I already told corals require clean water. Okay. So, when waves are coming, they will bring sediments and this mangrove's roots will trap some sediments. Then there is seagrass. Seagrass will trap few more sediments there. Okay. Then comes corals. Okay. So, now there is less sediment to the coral. Coral will thrive. If the mangroves are destructed, directly to seagrass all the sediments will go, then after that to coral. So, now coral die. Okay. So, if I want to mention others, I can also mention about unsustainable tourism, because throwing plastic waste. Okay. So, unsustainable tourism is one such problem there, unsustainable tourism. Throwing plastic waste are you know, small micro beads, the sunscreen which we are wearing has small micro beads and all, which gets mixed in the water. It also suffocates the coral. Then pollution, like oil spill. Again, marine snow means not snow in the water, it is you know, accumulation of plastic waste. This and all will choke the coral, pollution. Sixth, climate change and coral bleaching. here comes that word bleaching. For this only they developed the cryomesh technology. No, what is coral bleaching? I already told you, do you remember that? The coral's color, the beautiful color of coral comes from algae. So when climate change happens, sea surface temperature increases. That is called global warming. Because of global warming, the ocean temperature also rises. When ocean temperature rises, what happens? The coral becomes stressed, because I already told there is some optimum temperatures required for the coral to survive. So now the coral becomes stressed and they will expel the algae, okay, they will throw out the algae and they become colorless, they will become white color, as if you can see they will live in white color only. So because the algae is not present, and later eventually this coral will die without food. Okay, so that is called coral bleaching. And last I can say coral suicide because of ocean acidification also. Suicide because of ocean acidification. How this coral suicide is happening? Because the ocean water is turning to acidic in nature. We know ocean water has 8.1 pH value. Okay, so it's like basic, but as the carbon dioxide level increases in the atmosphere, the ocean water absorbs lot of carbon dioxide, and there comes a problem called acidification. Okay, this is a bigger topic which we will be explaining in our classes. So this, due to acidification, the calcium carbonate is not available for the coral to build the reef, and also the reef which is already existing also gets dissolved. So there is no place for coral to live. This is called coral suicide. So these are some of the problems associated with threats associated with coral ecosystem. Now before going into the next topic, that is the protection measures, let us see some questions. I hope I am having here. Okay, it's not here. Actually, in 2022, there are 3 times the questions has appeared from coral reef. One, in 2022, they asked a question related to bio-rock technology. Okay, bio-rock technology. This is, that's why I am saying maybe there is cryomesh can be asked this year, or they may ask about coral reef only. So it's a technology which is developed by organization to restore the coral. Okay, this way they asked a question, what is bio-rock technology? They gave 4 options for you. Again they asked in 2014, the question was statements oriented question. They were asking like most coral reefs are located, statement number 1, most coral reefs are located in tropical waters. Okay, this way the statement was there. And second, they were asking that the majority, half of the world's coral reefs were found in the countries. All the statements are right only during that period. So in 2014, you can also check your old question paper, you will find this question. Okay, so this kind of statements were there related to coral reef, and then they asked to pick up the right answer. Okay. Then again when they are asking, they asked about the location, distribution of coral reef. Okay. So they gave 1, 2, 3, 4 and 3 are right. Andaman and Nicobar they have given, they gave Lakshadweep. Okay. Then they gave Gulf of Kutch or Gulf of Mannar here, and the 4th option, because I don't remember much, only these 3 were right. They were asking Sundarbans. Okay, this way the question came. So only from the distribution so far the question has come. So this is wrong. We don't have coral reef here. All the other are right. This type of question has also occurred. Okay, only 3 times question has come. And now the protection measures. Let me discuss one topic. Okay, rest we will be doing in our classes. ICRI. Why I am discussing, I am choosing this topic is, this ICRI is a body, okay, the full form is International Coral Reef, okay, Initiative, International Coral Reef Initiative, I can say like this. This started in 1994, okay. So this year it is 30th year, so we are focusing on this, year-wise classification. It's a strategy. which I will be explaining later in the classes. So, that 30th year, 50th year celebration, if a body comes, mostly in the question paper you will find those types of question. So, this International Coral Reef Initiative is one such initiative. This is nothing but a voluntary global partnership. So, these words are important. When you are studying about this body, you have to take care of whether it is a government body or it is an international body. So, it is a voluntary global partnership. That means it is a partnership of organizations and nation. So, in organization you can find NGOs, the foundations also, and international organizations also, other organizations also you can find here, and the nations joined together, they formed this ICRI in 1994 along the Convention on Biological Diversity Conference of Parties. Okay, during that period they launched this, which took place in 1994. So, as I said, this is voluntary global partnership. They may ask, it is binding on the member countries. No, their decisions are not binding on the member countries. Okay, so it's voluntary only. You can opt it or you need not opt it. So, particularly this initiative was mainly brought in order to raise the awareness among the people, among the countries, to protect the coral reef, to protect and conserve the coral reef. For that purpose only they brought this initiative. Okay, and they also adopt for sustainable measures to protect and conserve the coral reef. Okay, for these two reasons they brought this organization, and this is not binding. So, who is the founding member? Now, how many members are there? That may be the question, that may be a point. Around 93, they will not how many members are there. They will ask whether India is member or not. So, India is a member, including India. Now, they have 93 members. But who is the founding member? The founding members are only 8 countries. Okay, UK, USA, France, Japan, okay, Australia, I am writing Australia, and Philippines, okay, then Sweden and Jamaica. So, these are some founding members. This just like that you can read. Okay, it's not necessary that you have to remember and all, but India is a member of ICRI. In the ICRI, 2 important event is important under ICRI. That only, with that we will conclude. See, ICRI, first one is IOEOR. This is called as International Year of Reef. Okay, International Year of Reef, IOEOR. This is announced by ICRI only, keep that in mind. If they are asking some question about ICRI, they may say that the International Year of Reef is announced by UN. Okay, no such thing. It is announced by who? ICRI. ICRI is the one who has announced this International Year of Reef. So, for 3 times they have done it. Okay, starting from 1997, 2008 and 2016, 3 times they have done it. And another small topic which you have to remember is Global Coral Reef Monitoring Network. Okay, Global Coral Reef Monitoring Network. This network is initiated by ICRI. Again, in 1995 they initiated this network. This network's main aim or duty is to monitor the conditions and status of the world coral reef, and they will give report to the people. Okay, see, this is how the coral reefs are. The condition is this: climate change has created this much impact on the coral reef. This way they will give a report. In 2020 only they released a report. Okay, status of world coral reef. In the name of status of world coral reef, they released a report. Right. This way, this ICRI, since it is celebrating the 30th year, I have discussed about ICRI. Okay. Another one small topic, if you want you can keep this in mind, green fin. It's called green fins. It's also an initiative only. Okay. Why this came in news? Again, this was launched in 2004. Okay. 2004. So, this is 20th year. That means In 2023 also they may ask, or 2024 also they may ask this question. Okay, so this initiative is done by an NGO name Reef World Foundation. Okay, Reef World Foundation, this is the NGO name, along with UNEP, United Nations Environment Program. They two combinedly do this. So what is this initiative about? This initiative is talking about, it's the first and foremost one, okay, the internationally recognized environmental standards to be adopted for sustainable marine tourism. Okay, so for diving, you would have heard about this, diving, snorkeling, for this they are giving some standards to be followed. So this is the first and the one and only which is available in the worldwide, in the international level, the environmental standards for marine tourism. So they also introduced Green Fins Hub. That means a platform, a digital platform where all the tourist operators, marine tourist operators will join, and they have a platform to discuss and to know what is the sustainable tourism practices to conserve the marine ecosystems, including coral reef. Okay, so with this we will end here. And I have also said how many questions has appeared so far. So there is a vast area to explore in coral reef. Be sure, like while you are doing a coral reef, this much has to be done at least about the coral reefs. Okay, and yes, fine. Thank you. We'll meet again.